All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? It is Wednesday, May 18th, 2022. And this morning is episode number 500 of the Perspective podcast of this show, Morning Perspective. And so I thought I would run through some of the things, some of the thoughts that I have from doing 500 episodes of this show. What are some of the things that I have learned over 500 episodes of doing this in the morning? And I think it'll be valuable. I think it'll be some great perspective to look back on. What are those things that you learn from showing up this many times and interacting with this many people, just hundreds of thousands of people interacting with this show over a period of time. And it has been an amazing ride. It has been one that I have learned. This show is probably one of the things in life that I have learned the most from doing it. And so that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? And happy Wednesday to you. I hope you guys are having an awesome morning. It is pretty awesome to be sitting here and looking at episode number 500 up on my screen here as we roll into this beautiful Wednesday here in Pittsburgh. And so I wanted to talk to you guys this morning about some of the things that I've learned over, doing this show for 500 episodes. And there's so much, man. I could go on and on and on for days about the things that I've learned. But there are some really important things that I think I want to talk about this morning. A handful of things that I've written down here, and then the rest of them I'm sure will come to my mind and come to my heart as I talk through this list. But what I want to start by saying is just thank you to you guys, for showing up here every morning and making this worthwhile. The most memorable things that stick out over 500 episodes are the things that have hit me most emotionally, right? The stories of success, the stories of changes happening in people's lives that, in some way, shape, or form, this show has either helped along, created an idea for somebody. There have been businesses started. There have been people that didn't take their own life because of episodes of this show. There's so many things that have impacted me emotionally and that have impacted others emotionally as a result of this community that we've been able to put together here that comes together every single morning, or at least most mornings, to start our day. And so when I started this show, I really didn't have any idea of what it would end up being. I just knew that I had things to say. I knew that I had, things to share. And I knew that I wanted to be a person that was there for other people. I wanted to be that person that could show up for people when they needed it. And I believe that the way that we start our day every single day really dictates so much about our life. It really dictates so much about who we become. Is directly attached to how we start our day. If you see those people who are the most positive people, those people who, seem like nothing ever bothers them, things bother them. It's just about how they show up, and how they show up starts with how they start their day. And so when you think about that, when you think about how you start your day, does it start with consistency? Does it start with a positive message? Does it start with reading or leaning into scripture, or whatever that is? The morning routine, in my opinion, is one of the most important things that you can do. That is personal to every single person. Every person's going to choose to do it differently. But for those of you who have chosen to make this show part of your morning routine, man, I am forever grateful, and I'm glad and honored that you would choose this time to spend with me and with the guests that we've had, and with everybody that's in the comments every single morning. This really has become like a family that shows up here every single morning. And hopefully in some way, shape, or form, this show, the messages, the community, the people that you've met through it have impacted your life in some way, shape, or form, the way that mine has been impacted by doing it. And so thank you is what I wanted to start with. Thank you for making this show so worthwhile and such an important part of my life. It has been such a important fulfillment for me to be able to do something like this and to look up there and see the number 500 almost seems surreal. It doesn't seem like 500 episodes that I've been doing this every single morning. And so I made a list of some of the things that really stand out to me. Some are, topics that we've covered on this show. Some are things that I've shared recently. And some, again, will come to me as I'm talking through this list. The number one thing that I wrote down, and I think that it is the most telling thing that I've learned from doing this show, and that is consistency really matters. Consistency really matters. How you show up for people, knowing how often I'm going to be here is important to all of you. When I don't do this show in the morning, if I'm traveling or something goes wrong or whatever it is, I always get messages. And so that shows you that people have routines. And when you become part of them, the consistency that you show up with matters. And so for me, that consistency has been a really big deal. It's shaped my life. It's changed my life. It's allowed me to show up better in other aspects of my life. But remember that consistency really matters. I'm going to do these out of order from what I wrote them down, because I think that, it's important to wing it to some degree to go with the flow of what comes to you first. But another thing that I wrote down on the list here is when you're able to trigger people's emotions, they will do amazing things. I want you guys to realize that, because I think in every aspect of our life, we have the opportunity to trigger people's emotions, to be more raw, to be more vulnerable, and to really help people chip away at maybe that hard outer shell that they might have as a result of things that have happened in their life. Some things that have impacted them in a negative fashion have really negatively impacted people's ability to feel. And, through doing this show for 500 episodes, there are things that I've talked about, things that I've shared, experiences in my own life, challenges in my own life that have triggered messages from people, or phone calls or text messages, DMs, that they have shared, their own story, or how my story has impacted them in some way, shape, or form. And when you really lean into helping people by triggering their emotions, and sometimes, listen, that's a variety of emotions. It could be anger, it could be disappointment, it could be all the different emotions that come with life. What ends up happening as a result of that is incredible things. People will respond. Some people crumble under that, and some people really just pivot and make unbelievable change and unbelievable choices in their life. And that has a massive impact in so many different areas of their life, personally, professionally, with their children, with their spouses, with the people that they work with. It's so important, guys, for us to trigger emotions in other people, for us to lean into those uncomfortable conversations and embrace the conflicts that come with sharing things like that and pointing things out that people go through. Some of the topics on this show over the years here have been things that I have experienced, whether it be with people that I coach, people that I work with, things that people call me for advice about. And when I share those things, what I've realized is that number one, people respond to that in such amazing ways. But number two, all of us go through very similar situations, right? And so when we're able to share those things openly, and we're able to put some context to it, some perspective to it, that allows people to process their own challenges and make them feel more normal. Like, man, I'm not the only one that's going through this. It really does do amazing things for people's lives. And so sharing your own emotions with people and having them share their emotions back is an incredible gift, and it allows people to do some pretty amazing things, and it's allowed me to do some pretty amazing things in my life as a result of the stories that you guys have shared with me. The next thing on my list here is, people are really incredible. People that show up for this show. I've had people send me gifts for doing this show. I've had people send me the most amazing messages, text me, check in on me when I'm not feeling well, check in on my family, communicate with my wife, get to know my children. People are really incredible, man. And the people that show up to watch this show, to listen to this show on the podcast, you guys are the best, man. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, the list of things that I could go through that have been gifts to me as a result of doing this show have been really incredible. And I think it's important to note that. With that said, the other thing, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that people can be really challenging, right? People can create an opinion of you when they don't even know you. People can send you not so kind messages, just the same as so many of you send, uplifting messages and messages of encouragement. People can be really challenging. Don't let them get you. Don't let them stop you from sharing your message. Over the years of me doing this show, there have been a lot of things that I have gone through personally, professionally, really challenging things that I have faced. People can be challenging. Don't let them stop you, and don't let them dim your light. This show has been a way for me to work through some of those things, to keep myself consistent, keep the message consistent, remind myself of just how important it is for me to keep myself straight so that I can show up and do this show and pour into anybody that's willing to watch or listen in the best way that I can, right? Fill my own cup and keep it full so that I can pour out for others. And, sometimes we can let people get to us, and it's important for you to note that other people's opinions are none of your business. And, what is important is for you to understand the mission that you're on, what God has put you here to do, and to execute on that mission, regardless of what noise is outside of your window, so to say. The window of life will have a lot of naysayers outside of it. Not letting that get to you, and not letting those people that can be challenging stop you from doing what is most important, and that is your highest, best use as God has intended it for you. Another thing that I wrote down here is our voices matter. The opinions that we share, the perspective that we share, it helps shape other people. It helps people look through a different window. My favorite conversations sometimes are with those people that I don't agree with, that I'm not on the same page as, that I don't see things the same way as, because those people help me see things that I can't see. And our voices matter regardless of what your opinion is. If you show up and present an opinion, a position with respect, with confidence, with knowledge, with facts, people are shaped by that. And whether they end up agreeing with you or not is not necessarily the most important thing. What's important is that you use your voice for good, that you use your voice to try to help people, that you come from a place of trying to serve, of trying to help, of trying to shed perspective on something that maybe people can't see. Some of the things that have happened over the course of years of doing this show in the world and talking about those things have really triggered some of the most valuable conversations that I've had. Use your voice. And in the next 500 episodes, I intend to use mine even more, right? To dig into some things that might be sensitive to people, but I think it's so important for us to create a space that we can talk about things and we can learn from each other and we can debate things and see things from different perspectives. Your voice matters, and you should use it as often as possible. The next thing on my list is not everyone is going to be who you initially think they are. And don't be disappointed by that. That's part of life. When you meet people in real life, you're going to find out that not everybody is who they seem in the first place. Don't let that stop you from getting to those people who are incredible gifts to your life. When I look around my life, I had a lot of thinking around this 500th episode. so many people in my life have either come through this show or have become better friends and better relationships, and to the point that people are like family to me as a result of this show, as a result of showing up here every morning and giving people a safe place to come when they need an uplifting message or some perspective to start their day. It has been incredible, but you will come across people in life, especially in social media land, that are not who you think they are in the beginning. And that's okay. You know, that's part of life. It means that you're getting more aware, that you're understanding people more, that you're creating boundaries for your own life and standards for your own life of who you want to associate with, who's going to be the closest to you, and who's just going to be a friend. And those are things that are really important lessons in life to realize. This show has helped me realize that at a much higher level. And again, don't take it too serious. That's part of life. You know, friends will come and go, connections will come and go. You know, you want to keep as many as you can, but sometimes turnover in your life is a good thing, right? And not everyone is who you think they are initially, and that is okay. Social media is a place where anything is possible. You know, it is such a gift to be able to do this. Like, I think about it so often when I'm looking into this camera. Maybe it's at the end of the show, and I think, man, like this morning, you know, I'm talking to people, and I know where most everybody lives that comments here, all over the country, right? All over the world in some cases. You know, people have tuned in from their vacations in other countries. We have a lot of podcast listeners from all over the world. I can't remember how many countries it is that people download it in, but it's something crazy, like 15 different countries or something like that. People download the podcast in. And that's incredible. Social media, guys, is a gift, man. It's about how you use it. You know, people will go on and on about how negative social media is. It's only negative if that's the way you use it. If social media is using you and you're not using it, then it can be a real negative in your life, in your marriage, in your business. But if you are using it correctly, if you are using it to build relationships, to help people, to increase your business, to make new connections, it is a place where anything is possible. And this show is proof of that for me, man. It has given me more gifts than I could, you know, that I could have the time to list during this 20 minutes this morning. But social media is a place where anything is possible. Please, I beg you to find a way to use it in a higher and better purpose. If you are a consumer, become a producer, right? Become somebody who is sharing your thoughts, who is sharing your story, who's sharing your own journey, because somebody out there needs to hear it. And so social media is an incredible place. It's a place where anything is possible. Please, I encourage all of you, if you've enjoyed these 500 episodes, come up with something of your own that you can share so that the world can hear your voice, because your voice matters and your message matters and your story matters, and somebody out there needs to hear it. Last but certainly not least on my list here, if you do something long enough, 500 episodes, you will do two things. You will detract the wrong people, and you will absolutely attract the right people. You know, those people that don't connect with you, when you do something long enough, they will find their way out. And most importantly, those people who you really do connect with, who you share values with, you share the same heart, you know, like-hearted and like-minded people will always find a way to find each other. And consistency is what does that. You know, as you show up over and over and over and over again, it becomes easier to relate to people. It becomes easier to believe what you thought was maybe the way that it is. But over 500 episodes, the word that we use in our company and that I use personally for 2022 is undeniable. And I think that over 500 episodes, it becomes undeniable what somebody's purpose is, what somebody's intentions are. And, you know, if you don't believe me, I challenge you to go back and listen to all 500 and see what you come up with, right? And that has been my purpose from day one. It has been to share the morning with people that want to hang out, that want to start their day a little bit better, that want to start off their day with a little bit of positive perspective, with a little bit of motivation and inspiration that can help them live a better life. That, for those who show up here, hopefully they're better leaders, they're better parents, they're better spouses, they're better family members to those people that care about them. And that has been my mission from day one, is to share the experiences, the knowledge that that I've been blessed enough to receive from other people, the life experiences that I've had. And, over the years of doing this show, I've had a lot more, man. I feel like, from episode 1 to episode 500, I will take the time today to go back and listen to and watch episode 1, just to give me some perspective of how far things have come. And, talking into this camera this morning is a whole lot different than it was talking into it for episode number 1. This morning I wrote down a quick list of things that I wanted to talk about here. Episode 1, I probably spent 2 hours preparing for not a very long episode, and probably read every single note off the page at some point or another. This morning, it doesn't take me much time to do this at all. And so that growth that you experience is incredible over a period of time. And remember, the more authentic you get, the easier it is for you to be yourself doing this, the more you will attract those right people into your circle, into your life, into your business, into every aspect of life. And, if there is one thing that I've taken away from 500 episodes of this show, is that the relationships that have been formed, and the friendships that have been formed, and the people that I've met from all over this country, and the people that I've yet to meet in person that I consider friends, some I consider family that I've yet to meet in person. It is God's greatest gift to us. And so as you use your voice, as you lean into the gift that's been planted in you, as you share your story, share your gifts with the world, man, what God puts in front of you and the gifts that God will give you as a result of that is incredible. It's incredible. It is, you guys are the greatest gift that I get from doing this show. It is a gift to myself to keep myself centered, but without a doubt, the relationships and the friendships and the phone calls and the memories are absolutely incredible, man. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. When it comes to business and social media, doing this show has really expanded all of that in such a way. It's been a gift to my family. Thanks to my wife and children. There was a long time that before we were in this office here that I did this show from home, and my wife had to keep the kids quiet. And sometimes the kids were banging on the door, waiting to talk to dad, or listening to what I'm talking about, or whatever it is. Man, it's been incredible to experience all of that, to be able to show up 500 times and build the relationships that I have and the friendships that I have. It has been one of the greatest gifts of my life. So thank you guys for your support, for all the kind words, all the kind messages, for showing up and sharing your most precious resource with me. Time means the world to me, man. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love starting my day with you guys, and I'm blessed to be able to do it. So I want to give a quick shout out to everybody that's in the comments here this morning. Gary Script, good morning to you, brother. Cisco, thank you, brother. Good morning to you. Mr. Jeff Nelson, man, what a gift you have become, brother. And this show has been one of the ways that we've gotten to know each other better, but what a gift. Lillian Calloway, I see you there. Love you guys. Christina, Mr. Calloway is here as well. Christina Macy, thank you for being here. Daniel Good, Mr. John Rugg, Quentin Lovejoy, Ed, my brother, my business partner. Thank you for being here, man. Means the world to me. Bob Bernard, Matt Johnson, Kyle Ashone, Tony Grout, Bob and Cynthia, Scott Rhodes, Todd Gurrell, Stephen Bradshaw, Trisha Lamy, Tammy Clark, David Martin, Dan Hill, Rick, my mom is on here. Man, thank you guys. Your support is what makes this possible. It's what makes it worth it. It's what sets me on fire to continue doing it. And cheers to you guys, and cheers to another 500 episodes. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.